Hello, welcome to Global Business. I am Imewere Uhiomokai. Now, last week we started a discourse with Mac Chidinma Atasie, who is a financial analyst and, of course, a business strategist. Many people were shocked at his thoughts, but guess what? You'll be shocked today when you hear his thoughts on the Igbo nation and its economy. So, it's a simple but deep program that we have for you today. If you're an Igbo man and you're in business, please sit back, relax, and learn the economics of the Igbo business from Mac Chidinma Atasie. We also have, of course, our African business proverbs with our man, Obinaya Urakpa, right after the interview with Chidinma Atasie. So, for me, I'll see you on the other side of the program. Enjoy. You've been someone that has been proposing a collaboration between the Southeast, especially like Aba leather and the Kano. Tell us about that relationship of the ecosystems of Aba and Kano that you are proposing.
It is time for us to sophisticate our entrepreneurial abilities. Going from where we are, which is a master-servant arrangement, to attract other investors who may be foreigners, who may be other Igbos, by the way. The Southeast, we have this program started by Ohaneze Ndigbo to 50 of us. We are brought together to think through building a stabilization fund, a Igbo stabilization fund, right? And we spent about a year now debating and all that. Then we have two funds. One that is going to be an investment company to do, the only thing that is going to focus on all investment will be on a Igbo, right? Basically, rail lines, massive businesses, industrial hubs, industrial clusters, anything that will broadband. So we're basically saying anyone that thinks he has money to invest, we have an opportunity. There are 40 million of us, with another 40 million surrounding us, with capacity to sell to the rest of the world. Come and put your money here through their Igbo investment company. Okay? That investment company, we assume, will aggregate funds from all over but to develop a Igbo. The second one is a fund that will allow the Igbos look after their people. Foundation. We all giving one philanthropy or the other. This says, can we have one world-class philanthropy that will attract a Dangote, that will attract all Igbos that do philanthropy, so that any Igbo boy or girl with a good brain or a good skill will not suffer, even if his father does not have the money or mother does not have the money to support him. So it gives opportunity for dignity and for development for the Igbo man. So the Igbo race appears to be at the tipping point for a revolution in how we relate with ourselves and the way we look at the world and the way we aggregate capacity, financial capacity, and do great things to develop our land. We want this to be a chance for us to relate equally with other parts of Nigeria. Because if we can do it well, it means that we will attract others who are interested in money and peace to join us. Because money doesn't have color, this particular aspect. Those that like us enough can support us in developing the one of helping our people, to foundation one. But the more important one is the capacity to invest in a rail and it brings out money, right? Invest in a factory, it brings out money. The new economy, we are going to have a special focus on it. So every one of us here is carrying battery. If you have solar light at home, it's battery powered. But soon all the cars will be battery powered, and so on and so forth. So you find that the battery industry will become very important. But it's the same battery you are carrying inside your phone. The same battery you have in touch at home. We used to have Excite battery in those days, and batteries made in Nigeria. We don't have a single battery made. Even the finger battery is imported. So the world is going to where some of the raw materials we have can be used to make batteries, right? And the Southeast has some of the lithium. It's a deposit in Southeast, and a few other raw materials that you can use to make battery. I believe some of us, when these two vehicles start running, will want to say, let's fund the setup of a battery business. Let's fund the blanketing of the Southeast with broadband. Because with broadband, our boys can serve anybody in the world. We become part of the global community. Nothing says that we can't do that. It's in our heads. We see problems. Yes, there are problems. I believe there are problems. I know there are problems. But we need to rise above those problems as a people and find a way to be the change that we talk about and be the change that we see. So yes, in the mind of our people is our limitations. I think we need to think about it, think of solutions. Most times I talk to people, they say, government that, but I'm saying, why not us? Why can't we? Because as you see government not doing it, some people are making billions in the same country. So why not us? The opportunities are immense. And the solutions can actually come out of us aggregating and perhaps pushing government to that vision. Can we have a vision in that? I think you asked the question about the Kano-Aba relationship. Now let me explain this. The reason why anybody buys things from you is not because it's your brother. That can happen once or twice. And nobody gets rich selling to himself or to only his brothers. The reason why people will run after your product is that it is solving a problem for them and it's affordable, right? So I say the quality and functionality must be very good compared to what somebody else will give you. But I also say it must be affordable. Therefore, you will make sure all the factors of production allow you to produce the cheaper than the rest. And you must make sure that what you're producing is the same world. Because it's one global village. You don't give me, the Chinese will give me, the Korean will give me, the Ghanaian will give. Nobody. Color is not important. People just want affordability and quality. Now, having said that, therefore, we are looking at a situation for the leather sector where there are over 100,000 shoemakers in Aba. The state government in Abia has also promoted the creation of a shoe factory. Working with the private sector, operating it is a private sector, driving it is private sector. It's private sector minded now, but it's government dream. I came up with that because that was in the governor's initial vision for the state, and he has made it to happen. Okay. Now, question is, as manager, and I'm chairman of that Enyimba Automated Shoe Company. So, question is, what do I do? Do I use the assets and sell shoes to Nigerians who, by the way, don't buy a lot, who, by the way, don't pay a lot? Or should I use that same infrastructure while I sell to Nigerians? Nobody says don't sell to Nigerians. And I don't need to, because there are 100,000 people that sell to Nigerians. I don't take their business from them. Why don't I break into this opportunity we're talking about, which is international market? who buy 6 pairs of shoes per person per annum, who pay 10 times what the Nigerian will pay. Therefore, with the same time and effort, I get a lot more margins. And at the end, I get Forex. And if I play big, 10% of the world shoes is $36 billion. That's the country's reserve. With shoes alone, Abia can do a lot to stabilize Nigeria and give us a fair chance to grow. But the problem is that we may not be competitive because getting leather and some of the raw materials make it difficult. But there's leather in Kano. The leather is exported by the Kano ecosystem. They export it for 2 reasons. One, the Aba people don't really manufacture leather-based shoes. Nobody can afford it in Nigeria. Reality, very few. When I say nobody, very few can afford it. And because it's very few people, the cost will be high. If it's many people, then when I buy the raw material, I will negotiate down. If you got a few people, the cost will be high. So the Kano man says, you want to buy my leather, this is the minimum I can sell because my machinery requires a minimum quantity for me to run it. So they sell outside Nigeria. But they are selling to where the rest of the world is also selling into. And so they fall on price. It's good price for them, but it's lower. But the federal government also pays them what is called export expansion grant. So they have no interest in what we do. So what we have done is gone to the Kano leather ecosystem and say, you know what? Can we jointly go for the expansion grant? What does that mean? When you export your processed leather, maybe you earn $1, right? For 1 square foot. If you send it to Aba and we export it, that could give us $90 because we produce about 3 pairs of shoes. I don't know what it will produce. Right? $1 turns into 90 with other things that we put in. What says that instead of getting X percentage of the $1, you won't get X percentage of the finished product and we share it? You get a lot more on the export expansion grant aspect. Collectively now, we can address international markets. 24 billion pairs of shoes sold last year. We could easily say, let's target 10%. We may fail, right? Let's shoot first. Shoot first. So they say, if you want to get to the moon, shoot for the heavens. If you want to get to the top of a tree, shoot for the moon. If you want to not start at all, shoot at the top of the tree because, so give yourself a stretch goal. So my stretch vision for Nigeria is, let's look for 10% of the shoes in the world. It will give us $36 billion inflow, FX. It will mean about 2 point something billion pairs of legs that we sell to every year, and so on and so forth. That's a great opportunity. Investors will come. And it is not just my Enyimba factory. We can't do it alone. The entire ecosystem needs to work together. So I went with them. I went with the president of LEPMAS, for this journey, and some of his members, and we made this speech. And so it's being discussed. So the whole idea is, let's work together. Instead of selling all our finished leather, processed leather, we sell it to the Saudis. Worst case, we buy it at the same price they normally sell it. Yeah. But they will lose the export expansion grant, which we will then collectively share. And we'll all be richer, Nigeria will be richer. We have a fair chance to play. But you know what? Our labor is cheap. Our currency is low. We will be the cheapest producer of shoes in the world if we use, and I understand the electricity structure in Aba through the Baton Naji power plant. We'll soon start running because the issues around it and the competing platforms has been resolved. Master stroke. Even if that didn't happen, we have 3 gas pipelines in Aba, all by Shell. We simply, if we mobilize the entire shoe sector, we can afford a low-cost way if we aggregate them into a cluster of powering our infrastructure. The World Bank has interest in making sure that we have a fairly sizable, how do I put it now, shared service center for the shoemakers, even if they didn't want to. I'm talking to friends who are willing to put in their money, and let's create something because the opportunity is there. We put a powerful structure that will make sure that the monies work home and that the business grows, and that will take a huge chunk of the shoe and leather belts. Who says we can't be the only one producing belts for the whole world? We could. Today, we are able to export to West Africa and other parts of that. Means even with no light, we're producing cheaply. Even with no light. Last year, I think we did about 50, 60 million pairs of shoes. But I'm talking about 2.4 billion pairs of shoes. I'm not talking about some. I want us to beseech the world because that changes our game. And that is shoes. We can do it in garments, right? We can do it in lots of other things than Nigeria. But let's find a way to sophisticate each production process and choose to be 1, 2, or 3 in the world. Because that's how Nigeria becomes rich.
Okay, let's ask one last question. Looking at the unity of the Igbo nation, it has been a challenge in many issues or many places, many sectors, many other areas. Don't you see this will be a challenge in this that you are proposing? Don't you see the unity of the Igbo race, the Igbo nation? You see them accepting this idea and working together with this idea?
So my people say, Oka ejiga no lafa jonjo. They also say, ejiga sombabu agog. Now let me explain it. The first one is, a discussion cannot stay inside the stomach and go bad. You can't say, oh, they will say no to me, so you don't start even thinking about it. You don't also say, if I go to this war now, I'll be killed, so you won't go to war. If you have to go to war, you have to go to war. Someday you'll die anyway. So if it is this war that will kill you, you better go. If you die in a dignified manner. If that is necessary. So I think the question is necessity. Do we think this thinking will create success? Do we think these ideas will change the fortunes of the Igbo race? If so, let's give it a shot. What are your concerns? One is we are all Republican in the East. Everybody is his own person. So are there models around the world where you are still your own person, but work together to create that big entity? Of course. You can have a shared center that all of us use the services. We all jointly own it, but we still run our individual businesses. So the business coming to use that platform is Okeke and Sons. But what platform are we using? Enyimba Shared Service Center, right? Which Okeke and Sons also owns part of. So there will be ways to continue to be who we are, but we benefit from scale, economies of scale, a general ecosystem that will make things happen. We need to change our ways and modernize our ways. You cannot continue the old ways. You know, they say the easiest way to define, one way to define madness is that you keep doing the same thing and expect different results. It served us well, but we need scale now. If you're exporting shoes into 2.4 billion pairs, you can't do it the way you do it now. You need a crazy way that will be spitting the thing out as if you go out of fashion. The line we have in Enyimba is one line that can do 5,000 pairs a day. Multiply 5,000 pairs. In 1 month, I will do 150,000, right? In 1 year, I'll do, 1.5 million. Isn't it? Where would that take? I'm talking about 2 billion pairs a year. We need it because we really need it. It's not a joke. That's the only way to make sure the Naira becomes stronger. Because now we have dollar in our hands. If you don't have dollar, to buy it will be expensive. That's the problem. So we must do this. Question is, how do we blend who we are with how the new things must work? I think I would rather be a candle that burns to the end than the one that fades. I want to give this a shot. Remember, I have access to the leaders of Ohaneze, the state governments. I have access. And we are talking. And I can tell you this for free. That's why the governor made the shoe sector in Abia a major issue for himself. In fact, he's gone to learn how to make shoes. right? You go to the other states I've been part of, the same thing. They all are focused on the economy of, Anambra was growing when the rest of the economy was falling. When the Nigerian economy was growing at 6%, it was growing at 14%. When we had the depreciation, what did you call it? No, not devaluation. When we had the recession, Anambra was growing at 1.something%, the economy was dropping. Because the governor went there to make the people do business. Opened up nightlife, opened up this. So it's about business, right? And reduce the difficulties in doing business. Same thing the Abia man has also focused on. So one expects that these efforts with the New Hanese Stabilization Fund initiative are going to give the Southeast a fighting chance to be that great economic heaven that we have always thought about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mac Atasie, for talking with us on the program. It's been 2 weeks of looking at various economic issues and then narrowing it down to the southeastern part of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us on the program. It's been wonderful talking with you. And so that's Talk Business on Global Business.
Good day. Our elders say, what the bitter cola sounds to the ear is not what it tastes in the mouth. Things are not always what they seem. Before you step into anything, any line of business, step into a relationship, do your due diligence. My people say, the person that asks questions does not miss their way. Ask the right questions, do your feasibility, do a business plan, have a marketing plan, have a marketing strategy. Nobody uses 2 feet to test the depth of a river. You get drowned, you get swallowed up. So it's important to learn before you earn. Ask questions. This is very key. A lot of people dabble into things they know nothing about. Bandwagon effect. It's important to know that to go far in the current world, in business today, in relationship, in life, you need to ask questions. What the bitter cola sounds to the ear, it's not what it tastes in the mouth. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. African business proverbs. Stay tuned.
If you have thoroughly watched this program, I'm sure you will be blown away. In fact, you will begin to rethink your business. If you're a small business or a micro business, you'll begin to see the bigger picture. See the world. Don't see only Nigeria if you're in Nigeria. We've looked at the Igbo economy, the Igbo nation, and how it can transform not only that section of the country, but the whole of Nigeria. It's been wonderful doing business with you. Let's do it again next week. Have a great day. It's always nice doing business with you.